So welcome and please be seated. Good afternoon. I'm Dwayne Meswa, the Stephen Scharf Dean of OUWB. It's my honor to welcome you to the 9th commencement ceremony of Oakland University William Beaumont School of Medicine. I also welcome those who are streaming this event live from all parts of the world so that you could be present at this special event in the lives of the class of 2023. Before we start the ceremony, we have a few logistical matters to address. For our ceremony to proceed in an orderly manner and to provide all members of the audience with as clear a view as possible, we ask family and friends of the graduates who are taking photographs to keep the aisles clear. We have professional photographers taking pictures of the graduates here today. And following the ceremony, there will be an opportunity for the graduates to take hooding pictures with family and friends in the Oakland Center. We have 2 rooms reserved there, rooms 129 and 130 for those hooding photos. Now at this time, please stand for the national anthem performed by our Associate Dean of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion and Community Engagement, Dr. Tanya Bailey.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets reclaim, the bombs burst in midair, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land and of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Dr. Bailey. For those of you who don't know, Dr. Bailey's been with us now maybe about 4 or 5 months, and originally we planned on having a recording for the Star Spangled Banner, and I thought, I got a better idea. So I think we made a wise decision. At this time, I'd like to introduce the members of our platform party. I ask that each of you rise and remain standing until all members of the platform have been introduced. I ask the audience to please withhold your applause until all have been recognized. Starting on my far right, the Dean of Graduate Studies, Brandy Randall, the Dean of the Honors College, Graham Harper, Dean of the School of Education, John Marjoram Lays, Dean of the School of Health Sciences, Kevin Ball, Dean of the University Libraries, Polly Boroff-Jones, Associate Provost for Operations, Amy Baines-Berselli, and Senior Vice President for Student Affairs and Chief Diversity Officer, Glenn McIntosh. On my left, Oakland University President, Dr. Ora Hirsch-Peskovitz, Oakland University Board of Trustee Chair, Robert Shostak, our honorary degree candidate, the Dean of the Department of Health, Humanities, and Bioethics at the University of Rochester School of Medicine and Dentistry, Dr. Lainey Friedman Ross. Corewell Health East President, Dr. Ben Schwartz. Corewell Health East Chief Operating Officer, Nancy Sussick. President of Corewell Health's William Beaumont University Hospital, Dan Carey. Oakland University Associate Provost for Faculty Affairs, Nivedita Mukherjee. And OBGYN resident at Corewell Health East and our alumni speaker for the class of 2021, Dr. Kala Seawright. In the next rows are the chairs of our clinical departments. I ask that all of you please rise together as a group and remain standing. Now, our OUWB leadership team, the associate, assistant, and vice deans of the school, please rise. And in our front row on the main floor, I welcome and recognize Oakland Board of Trustee member David Kramer, please rise, and two members of the Dean's Advisory Board, Monica Emerson and Dr. Les Roche. Thank you all for being here. Please be seated. It is now my privilege to introduce our first speaker, the chair of the Oakland University Board of Trustees, Robert Shostak. Bobby.
Thank you, Dean Meswa, and a special thank you to you and congratulations upon your upcoming, I guess, semi-retirement. You're not going to completely be gone, but for all you did for the university and all you did for the med school. And good afternoon to all of you guys. Congratulations. How about it? You're here today. Let's give it up. I'm honored to participate in this momentous ceremony for Oakland University William Beaumont School of Medicine's 9th graduating class. And we have with us today the new CEO of the hospital, Dr. Ben Schwartz. And Ben, you're truly a welcome and meaningful addition to this partnership, and we welcome you and your team to Michigan. I also feel tremendous pride in being affiliated with this distinguished academic institution that has made this day possible for these 110 emerging physicians. I feel especially proud as I was here in the beginning when it was first a dream by the university leadership and watched it become a reality. Each of you, by right, also should feel a tremendous sense of pride. Your accomplishments are many and remarkable. I know this because 42 years ago, we gave birth to our first child, and in his first 10 years of life, he started telling us he was going to be a doctor. In a flash, he graduated from that university in Ann Arbor and then on to medical school downtown at Wayne State. It seemed like yesterday, and I'm sure for your parents, as we witnessed this incredibly proud moment at that white coat ceremony, and again as he entered med school, and even for all of the families connected 4 years later at that infamous and hair-raising match day. Witnessing him in his final formal challenge as a resident at Cleveland Clinic and later his fellowship really made it that much more meaningful and momentous. I know I join with your parents and families and all of you today as we continue to be in awe and so honored by your accomplishments. To begin with, you have completed one of the most demanding and rigorous curricula in higher education, and you have done so with academic excellence. It's also telling that 100% of you have placed in medical residency programs your first step forward as you embark upon what will undoubtedly be a laudable career. Collectively, you have sought after to compete in residencies at medical institutions in 26 states, and these are not just any institutions. Many of you have been welcomed by some of the most prestigious medical centers in the nation, including Brown University, Cleveland Clinic, Johns Hopkins, University of California, Irvine, University of California, Los Angeles, and the University of Massachusetts. All of you must know that you have merited the pride, respect of your instructors, the School of Medicine, and this university as a whole. You've also earned the glowing and well-deserved admiration of your families and friends. As a parent of a conscientious, diligent, and successful physician myself, I can tell you how meaningful of an experience it is for your parents and what a great sense of pride we have in all of you. Our son went on to get his MBA and then practiced cardiothoracic anesthesiology and working for great hospitals in this area. I know you all, when you come back for your residencies, will come back to Michigan, visit this great university, see your professors, and hopefully take jobs in this state. I must tell you, however, that the pride and respect and honors are not easily bestowed on all those who receive them. They are precious and hard-earned covenants that must continuously be maintained, nurtured, and continuously nurtured. During your white coat ceremony 4 years ago, you took an oath to practice medicine with care, compassion, and deep understanding. In each and every decision you will be called upon to make as doctors, you will be presented with the decision to remain true to that oath. The degree to which you maintain your commitment to that highest oath will dramatically influence the degree to which you will continue your journey. I suspect you know that you are entering the field of medicine at a time when the knowledge and resources available to improve the lives of others have never been greater and more of a challenge. I watched the strain of our son and colleagues, and perhaps many of you as well, during the pandemic, when daily and hourly you held hands with patients who you and your colleagues were often their last patient they saw during those horrific early years of the pandemic. God bless you for the strength it takes to fulfill your roles. It's a time when emerging challenges to do so and to do better never have been greater. We have every confidence in you that you will continue to do extraordinary work, and the work will be guided by a deep sense of dedication to your patients. Prioritizing their health and welfare over yourself will enable you to be successful in your personal journey. Most importantly, it will bless you with the knowledge that your efforts have meaning and critical impact. I take this opportunity to commend you on the quality of work you've done thus far, and to thank you in advance for the journey you're on and the great contributions you will make to mankind. Congratulations on this very important day to you and your families. You have a very bright future ahead of you, and we look forward to your great success. It's now my pleasure to introduce our next speaker and my good friend, our leader, Dr. Ora Peshkovitz.
Thank you so much, Chair Shostak. Well, graduates, pretty soon you will be receiving the most important title of your life. You'll be called doctor. What does it mean to be called doctor? I have to say, of the many titles that I have had, the one that really means the most to me is that title, doctor. And you know, it's so much more than a title before your name. So I thought for a few minutes I might just share with you a few words that I wish maybe I had heard so many years ago when I was sitting in your seat at my medical school graduation. So here are just a few thoughts. As you're approaching this day, think about what lies ahead. Approach each day with passion and with purpose. Never, ever underestimate yourself, but then again, never overestimate yourself either. Be curious, respectful, and humble. You don't know what you don't know until that day arrives. And medicine is so much more than an art and a science. It takes practice to practice, and it takes a lot of style too. And I don't mean it's just what you wear, it's the way you act, and it's the way you treat your patients. You are entering the medical profession on the shoulders of all of those who came before you. You've had amazing professors here at OUWB. Honor their tradition. Seek mentors, because it won't be long before your time will come so be a mentor to others too. With caring comes pleasure and pain, but never stop caring because it's the basis of your humanity. You may suffer heartache and triumph, and when you experience one, keep the other in mind too. Remember to always laugh, but mostly laugh at yourself. Stand on principle. Remember, it's important to have integrity, and you'll never be disappointed. But your success is never yours alone. It's always been a team sport. You didn't get here alone, and you're not going to get to the next step alone either. Your advancement is the result of so many people who are in this room here with you today, and you will continue to depend on other people too. So support those who support you. It's an essential part of what you've accomplished. Enjoy the ride of life. Enjoy the ups, enjoy the downs, and all the in-betweens. And when you give a lot. Give until it hurts, because you'll receive so much in return, and the universe will notice. And of all these aphorisms, maybe the most important one is this: believe in yourself and believe in the practice of medicine. To this day, I continue to believe that medicine is the most noble of all professions. So we have with us today someone who upholds the highest standards of medicine, our honorary degree recipient, Dr. Lainey Ross. And now I would like to invite Dr. Lainey Ross to rise and step forward. Dr. Ross, would you stand right here? Thank you. Stand right here. From time to time, an institution of higher education pauses in its affairs to take special recognition of individuals who have given unusual measure toward the betterment of humankind's intellectual, cultural, aesthetic, social, and civic fabric, and who in doing so have touched the life of the institution in significant ways. Just as the conferral of the doctoral degree is a university's recognition of the highest academic achievement, so also is the conferral of the doctorate honoris causa, a university's recognition of truly distinguished achievement beyond the classroom and the campus. Dr. Ross joined the University of Rochester in January as professor and inaugural chair of the Department of Health, Humanities, and Bioethics, with secondary appointments in the departments of pediatrics and philosophy. Her main focus has been an analytical examination of moral relationships and their implications for healthcare decision-making and healthcare policies. Dr. Ross has written or co-written 5 books and has published more than 200 articles in the peer-reviewed literature. She has won numerous awards. I'm just going to tell you about a few of them. She is the 2009 recipient of the Patricia Price Brown Prize in Biomedical Ethics from the Oklahoma Health Sciences University, the 2014 recipient of a John Simon Guggenheim Memorial Foundation Fellowship, and the 2015 recipient of the William G. Bartholomew Award in Ethical Excellence from the American Academy of Pediatrics. She has made major contributions in medical ethics and health policy, and throughout her career, she has demonstrated how moral convictions shape the practice of medicine. Therefore, it is with great honor and special privilege that Oakland University awards you, Dr. Lainey Ross, the honorary degree of Doctor of Humanities. And now I would like to request that Dean Meswa come forward to assist with the investiture. we'll have to say congratulations to our Dr. Lainey Ross. Congratulations.
Thank you. First, let me thank President Peskovitz, the trustees of Oakland University, Dean Dwayne Meswa, Amy Baines-Berselli, and the Honorary Degree Committee for this wonderful honor. To the graduating medical class and the families who celebrate with you today, I offer my sincere congratulations on reaching this milestone. As you embark on your next stage of training, it is critical that you remember that every medical encounter is, at its foundation, an ethical encounter. Often what medical students remember about their ethics classes are the case studies by which ethical principles were taught. When a patient refuses a life-saving treatment, we discuss the principle of autonomy and how the competent patient has the right to accept or refuse any and all medical care, including life-sustaining treatment. When a child is born premature, we teach you that decisions should be based on the child's best interest. Although that may not solve the problem, because the clinicians and the parents may disagree about what is best for a particular child in a particular family. And when we discuss the various algorithms to allocate scarce resources, whether we discuss the over 5-year wait for a deceased donor kidney for patients in end-stage renal disease, or the distribution of COVID vaccines in the early days of the vaccine rollout, we are really talking about distributive justice, how to balance equity and efficiency. These are all important issues, and some of the cases make headline news. Names like Terry Schiavo and the right of a surrogate to withdraw fluid and nutrition, or Jahi McMath, a child whose parents rejected the determination of death by neurological criteria, these become household names, at least for a while. But ethics is omnipresent in the doctor-patient relationship, and we need to look beyond the sensational ethics cases and instead realize that ethics is at the heart of the routine clinical encounter. It starts with the assumption that all human beings have equal worth and are deserving of our respect. To be clear then, the first ethical principle in every doctor-patient encounter is respect for persons. The concept that all adults with decisional capacity deserve the right to fully exercise their autonomy, and that children and others who lack decisional capacity are worthy of protection. This is true whether the patient has caused his own health issues by his personal behaviors or whether he was just unlucky. This is true whether the patient is severely disabled and has a life-limiting condition, or whether the patient is a healthy, able-bodied citizen who has an acute illness that will resolve on its own. Respect requires physicians to empower patients or their proxies to make healthcare decisions for themselves and then to act in accordance with those decisions. We often call this respect for autonomy. This is not to say that patients do not make bad decisions. They do. Nor is it to say that we should just throw up our hands and say, respect for autonomy means that I must accept a patient's decisions regardless of its health consequences. Eventually, we may have to accept their decisions, but not before we try to reason with our patients, educate them about the risks and benefits, and sometimes even nudge them to a decision with better health outcomes. That is, respect for autonomy should be understood relationally, whereby clinicians have an obligation to help patients examine their values in order that the patient or proxy makes an informed decision that best achieves their health goals. Respect also requires that clinicians act with humility, because a decision that seems unexplored or contrary to a patient's goals may actually reflect deep underlying cultural or religious values. We must act with humility because sometimes what we think is medically best is not. Our diagnoses may be wrong or our treatments ineffective. We must act with humility because we clinicians, like our patients, are human. When ethical issues arise in a routine clinical encounter, they often go unnoticed. When we ask a patient for permission to examine her, we have decided that she has the capacity and authority to do so. That is an ethical judgment. When we ask a patient about personal habits that may impact their health, we expect them to tell the truth, and they expect that we will keep that information private and our conversation confidential. Truth-telling, trust, privacy, confidentiality are ethical principles that underlie the doctor-patient relationship. So in every clinical encounter, remember, the doctor-patient relationship is fundamentally an ethical relationship. Respect for the autonomy of persons is the foundation of this relationship. Be worthy of the trust our patients grant us. Realize that as physicians, we have opportunities for studying human nature which are given to no one else. Use that opportunity with ethical integrity and humility. May your careers be long and fulfilling. Thank you.
Congratulations again, Dr. Ross, and thank you for those inspiring words. Now I'm excited to introduce to you our keynote speaker, Dr. Ben Schwartz. During his 27-year career in healthcare, he has been a practicing physician, an executive and administrative leader, and associate professor at several institutions. Dr. Schwartz currently serves as president of Corewell Health East, where he is responsible for hundreds of practices and 8 acute care hospitals here in Southeast Michigan. He graduated with a medical degree from George Washington University School of Medicine and Health Sciences and earned a master's degree in healthcare management from Harvard University. And he is also a professor in obstetrics and gynecology here at OUWB, inspiring the next generation of physicians with his passion for medical education. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Ben Schwartz.
Hi, everybody. How you guys doing? Good? All right. President Peskovitz, Trustee Shostak, Dean Mezwa, thank you so much for having me here today. I'm super excited to be here. My being here is to be the voice of over 30,000 healthcare providers and team members that all today share in the celebration of your graduation. We're super proud of you. Our relationship with OUWB is strong, and my being here, I think, is more than symbolic, because I'm super excited to let you all know that in honor of our great dean, a true medical students dean, we've created the Dwayne Mezwa Scholarship for future generations as part of his legacy to help those students that are struggling with tuition and to remember what a great leader you've been for all of us. Thank you. To the members of the faculty that are here, I share with you this great privilege to see these graduates move on to their residencies. Congratulations for your contributions to such an amazing class. We're super proud to be a part of your team. This is a special time for you all, for you and your families and your friends. You're also kind of a special class. You're graduating on the week where our national emergency around the COVID-19 virus is ending. And you're a class of students that did your entire education through that crisis and through that pandemic. That's an amazing accomplishment. It is great to see your faces, and congratulations for that accomplishment. It's been a really hard time, and I know it's been really rewarding and challenging, and I just want to give you a round of applause for that effort. Now, graduations come with some pretty powerful emotions. It's kind of this cool feeling of accomplishment for all of us. I think you're all probably going to have a lot to celebrate later today. But I think there's also sort of that emotion of, I wonder what my next chapter is. And for those of us in healthcare, I want to ask all of you to ponder just for a moment, what is our next chapter? Technology is pretty crazy these days. You'll be pleased to know that I did not ask ChatGPT to write this speech, although I was tempted. My wife tried to convince me to. I'll share with you, just to put it in context, in 1991, a first-year medical student, nice to meet you, went to something called a lab and sat at something called a computer, which had a black screen and green letters. And somebody sat down and tried to explain to me how you put www in for this new cool thing that Al Gore created called the internet. And at the time that was happening, I think we were all really excited and maybe a little afraid. And maybe that strikes a bell with regards to AI and all the implications of it. I want to tell you that I think there's something really magical about your education at OUWB, because the school has made humanism and the human connection critically important, more so than any other medical school that I've been a part of. And I want to just share with you, with all the technology that we're about to face and all the wonderful things that it can do, the importance of remembering who we are as a profession, what we stand for, and where our values are. And I want to share with you, if you don't mind, a personal anecdote that profoundly impacted my medical career. Several years ago, I'm a gynecologic oncologist. I don't take care of men, but a close friend of mine was diagnosed with prostate cancer. He was terrified, and he called me to say, hey, can you recommend someone, a robotic surgeon, for me to see for surgery for my cancer? So I gave him a few names, and all of the names that I gave him were considered superstars, top of their field, highly celebrated. He and his wife were psychologists, and he went to see all three doctors, and he called me after he saw the last one. He said, I picked my surgeon. And because I couldn't resist, I said, well, how'd you pick? And he said, well, I'll tell you, the surgeon did something really interesting. We went to see all three. They had 1 million diplomas on their walls. They all had impeccable credentials. But one of the surgeons did something really special. He made mention that he recognized that he was really busy in his office, and he didn't really have time to get to know his patients at all. And he asked his wife, if you could please send me an email telling me who your husband is. And I promise, before the surgery, I'll read that email so I'll know who your husband is. And that's how he picked his surgeon. I was badly ashamed. I was embarrassed. Crazy busy practice. And never, in all the time that I had and how fast I was moving in life, I don't think I really recognized how important my relationship with my patients was. So I tried it out. So it turns out that out of complete serendipity, the two first patients that I tried this out on, both of their husbands wrote to me about music, which is pretty interesting. So the first one, her husband wrote me this email to say, I just want to let you know that nobody knows this about my wife, but she's obsessed with Pink Floyd. And nobody knows that. She's embarrassed to tell her friends or anything else. So, okay, so I picked, now in my operating room, it was either U2, Coldplay, or Dave Matthews Band. You weren't allowed to play anything else. But on this particular day, I had Comfortably Numb blasting in the operating room. And when they brought her into the room, she started crying. I started crying. And my entire team had no idea what was going on. Anyway, it was a really powerful moment, I think you can imagine. She felt like she was in this kind of safe space, and that there was something very personal about the experience that she was going through for her cancer operation. Now, complete serendipity, the second patient happened to be an active participant since she was a child in her local church choir. So as they were bringing her into the room, I had choir music blasting. Okay, now my team is completely baffled. What is going on here? And I had to share with them the emails and tell them the story. So the team, quite unexpectedly, said, well, you know, we'd like to hear the emails too. It would mean a lot to us. All right, so the next week, I brought the emails, and that went horribly wrong. It went really wrong because in the emails, the husbands or the family member would write, Dr. Schwartz, you're so amazing. This is so cool that you do this. And the nurses in my operating were like, that is the last thing this guy needs to hear is how amazing he is. It's hard enough to deal with him on a daily basis. Now all of a sudden he's like, his head's out to here. So I changed it a little bit, and the subtle change was one of the most profound things that happened to me in my professional career. I asked the families to write the email to the entire team in the room. It is impossible to explain what happened in that space. Charles, one of my patient's husband, wrote an email saying to everyone in the room, "We know how hard it is to get where you got today. We know that every single one of you plays a critical part in this operation. And we know how busy you all are. And we know how many soccer games you missed, how many dinners you've missed. In this one moment, can you please do your very best? In this one moment, can you please be in the moment?" Okay, there wasn't a dry eye in the room, but something happened. I don't know, there's probably doctors in here a lot smarter than me, but whether it was dopamine or serotonin or whatever it was, all of a sudden we were aware. All of a sudden, as a team, we came together in a way that I think, to our shame, we were very busy all the time and not necessarily focusing. If I asked you, driving here today, what the color of the car was that you followed, you probably couldn't tell me. Sometimes some things are so routine that you just sort of get distracted. Now, what was really cool about it was that we did it on every patient for, I don't know, maybe the last 5 to 10 years. We started to do it on the COVID floors because families couldn't visit patients. It was something really powerful, not just for the team to know about the people who they were taking care of, but when you're the family of someone going through a cancer operation or an illness, unless you're a physician, you kind of don't know what to do. You kind of just are going and you're trying to be proactive and you're trying to be caring. But the emails created an opportunity for families to directly speak to the team in the operating room and feel like they were impactful. There's something really magical about medicine. There's something really magical about our relationships and the doctor-patient relationship. And I think there's going to be a lot of forces in nature that are going to get in the way of that. I'll give you a great example. N95 masks. I see you nodding. It's hard to know if people are understanding you. It's hard to know if they're scared or happy. It's hard to read emotions. And with leveraging AI and all the pressures in healthcare and everything else, I implore you, for your patients, for your colleagues, for your team members, to be in the moment and to practice the humanity that OUWB has emphasized over the last 4 years. But when I ask you, what's your next chapter, I have one more ask. You're going to go to some of the country's best health systems, and you're going to come with a special skill and a special education that may be foreign to them. Be ambassadors for humanity and spread your wisdom beyond your relationship with your patients. And you will make this place a shining example of what being a doctor should really be. Congratulations to all of you. We're super excited for you, and thank you again for including me. Thank you.
So thank you, Dr. Schwartz, for inspiring our graduates and for sharing the tremendous news about the scholarship. I'm very humbled and honored to have Corewell Health and Oakland University partner to create this endowed scholarship to support an area that I'm really passionate about. With more than 40 years of medicine, I thought I had experienced it all. This is really pretty special. I'm overwhelmed with pride that my name will be forever associated with an endowment that supports student scholarships at OUWB. So I'm appreciative to everyone for helping put that together. Let's move on. Yesterday, we witnessed the military promotion ceremonies for 3 of our graduating students. I'd like to recognize those students. Please stand when I call your name and remain standing. Benjamin Kolar was promoted to captain in the Air Force. Brianna Walter was promoted to captain in the Army. And Adam Wall was promoted to lieutenant in the Navy. Congratulations to all three of you. Please be seated. At this time, I invite Dr. Berkeley Brown, Associate Dean for Student Affairs, to address the class of 2023. In a few minutes, she will also preside over the presentation of diplomas and ceremonial hooding of our graduates. Dr. Brown.
Hey guys. Thank you, Dean Mesva. Wow, class of 2023. I am so honored to be standing before you today. You have inspired all of us at OUWB with your drive, determination, and commitment to excellence in everything you do. Throughout your medical education, we have witnessed your hard work, your dedication, and your care for others. And you've had your resilience tested time and time again during some of the most trying times in recent history. Please remember all that you have learned here and all that you've accomplished, and take it with you as you move through the world. Over the years, you have repeatedly demonstrated the true meaning of community, not only towards each other, but with all of us at OUWB. I encourage you to maintain the bonds you have created, no matter how near or how far you are from each other in the future. Class of 2023, your energy, your tenacity, your dedication will remain with OUWB forever. And for that, we are grateful.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. So will the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Medicine please rise? President Peskovitz, on behalf of the faculty of Oakland University William Beaumont School of Medicine, I would like to present to you the most outstanding candidates for the degree of Doctor of Medicine. President Peskovitz.
Thank you, Dean Meswa. Upon the nomination of the faculty of Oakland University and by the state of Michigan, vested in the Board of Trustees and delegated to me, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Medicine. Dr. Brown.
Thank you, Dr. Peskovitz. I would like to ask Dr. Hanan Al-Salani and her group to please approach the stage. I also invite to the stage Dr. Pierre Morris, Associate Dean for Undergraduate Clinical Education. Dr. Morris will be assisting all of the PRISM mentors with the hooding today. While the group is making their way up here, I thought I would take a moment to explain why we have physician mentors assisting the students with their hoods. These physicians have played an important role in mentoring and supporting their group of students over the past 4 years. The mentors helped the students don their very first white coats. They read monthly reflections, they met one-on-one with the students, and they listened to the students as they expressed concerns, frustrations, and celebrated their successes. On behalf of all the students, we would like to thank our physician mentors for all they've done for the class of 2023. In addition to the hood that each graduate is about to receive, you will notice that some of them are wearing honor cords. The graduates wearing the green and white cords have been honored with induction into the Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Medical Society. The AOA recognizes exemplary leadership, character, community service, and professionalism demonstrated by individuals who are also in the top 25% of their class academically. The graduates wearing gold cords were nominated by their peers for induction into the Gold Humanism Honor Society. It recognizes those who are considered exemplars of compassionate patient care. They are role models, mentors, and leaders in the practice of humanism in medicine. The graduates wearing purple and silver cords received the OUWB Compass Service Honors. It recognizes students who completed at least 150 hours of community service throughout their time at OUWB. As the names of our graduates are being called for their diplomas and ceremonial hooding, please hold your applause until the last student has received her diploma. At that time, we will recognize all of the students at once. Dr. Bilal Mohammed Ali. Dr. Zachary Armstrong. Dr. Margaret Bohr. Dr. Megan Bricely. Dr. Camila Cascardo. Dr. Nikki Haggerty. Dr. Eric James. Dr. Nicholas McMillan. Dr. Amelia Nager. Dr. Paul Patel. Dr. Liu Wang Pham. Dr. Brittany Silverman. Dr. Adam Leonard Wall. Dr. Aiden Zubak. I would like to ask Dr. Susan Bork and her group to please approach the stage. Unfortunately, Dr. Yasmin Abushakar. Dr. Tarek Almsadi. Dr. Monib Bagrara. Dr. Erica Burkett. Dr. Susan Duong. Dr. Stephanie Gappy. Dr. Demalola Abdulmajid Badebo. Dr. Austin Lehue. Dr. Claire McNary. Dr. Mary Elise Nowlin. Dr. Skylar Blake Porcaro. Dr. Elizabeth Seeley. Dr. Amin Surawardi. Dr. Haley Walton. I would like to ask Dr. Barbara Herzig and her group to please approach the stage. Dr. Qasim Alameri. Dr. Omar Baksh. Dr. Anna Carmen. Dr. Pat Yuang. Dr. Jordan Enns. Dr. Mohammed Hussein Gandor. Dr. Marlon Amy Halder. Dr. Caitlin Hansen. Dr. Catherine Elizabeth Hull. Dr. Eduardo Leon. Dr. Mina Salwan Misiak. Dr. Stephanie Mrosinski. Dr. Caitlin Padaroki. Dr. Siddharth Ramanathan. Dr. Rehan Tariq. I would like to ask Dr. Eli Mulham and his group to please approach the stage. Dr. Ian Armstrong. Dr. Kiran Bersani. Dr. Jody Esguerra. Dr. Benjamin Goldstein. Dr. Jithan John. Dr. Kelsa Kaziak. Dr. Flora Martz. Dr. Mary Amir Najjar. Dr. Dalia Ramon. Dr. Richard Ramirez. Dr. Sukhmani Singh. I would like to ask Dr. Neetu Sharma and her group to please approach the stage. Dr. Sakeeth Akula. Dr. Corey Carney. Dr. Rania Ali Fardus. Dr. Payam Fodavat Ahmadi. Dr. Rohan Gupta. Dr. Joshua Jones. Dr. Neri Kachadorian. Dr. Ryan Lidstrom. Dr. Shivam Patel. Dr. Dana Rector. Dr. Joseph Alexander Rodriguez. Dr. Ryan Wu. I would like to ask Dr. John Tu and his group to please approach the stage. Dr. Taj El Hassani. Dr. Michael Veloso Balsi. Dr. Jimmy Clemens. Dr. Mallory Evans. Dr. Benjamin Galen. Dr. Charon Kim. Dr. Ramiz Memon. Dr. Batul Nasser. Dr. Joshua Powell. Dr. Sienna Ringenberg. Dr. Andrew Shanholzer. Dr. Rachel Truland. Dr. Brent Yelton. I would like to ask Dr. Kurt Wharton and his group to please approach the stage. Dr. Hezem Al-Akras. Dr. Mark Banikid. Dr. Anna Bruins. Dr. Benjamin Kohler. Dr. Sarah Diltz. Dr. James Gannon. Dr. Yusuf Ibrahim. Dr. Stephanie Ichabone. Dr. Doyle Lang. Dr. Nicole Lewis. Dr. Jordan Menzer. Dr. Han No. Dr. Mitchell Thomas Fenig. Dr. Christian Skoronsky. Dr. Christina Twall. I would like to ask Dr. Angela Xavier and her group to please approach the stage. Dr. Michael Burgoyne. Dr. Kaylee Ashlyn Bullock. Dr. Joshua Daniel. Dr. Jessica Dorschner. Dr. Brianna Lee Gibney. Dr. Charlene Lee Shaw. Dr. Andrew Daeyoung Lee. Dr. Natalie Leogas Deneau. Dr. Nicholas Milkey. Dr. Abiba Salahu. And Dr. Brianna Walter. This concludes our hooding ceremony. Congratulations again to our new physicians, the class of 2023. I now invite Dr. Meswa to return to the podium to introduce our class of 2023 student speaker.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Brown. Class of 2023, it really doesn't surprise me that this person is your choice for class speaker. I remember in his first year, he was recognized for his leadership qualities, and you chose him as one of your class senators. That was then, and now he is ready to enter his urology residency at Corewell Health's Beaumont Hospital. It's my honor to call him doctor for the second time. Your class of 2023 speaker, Dr. Shivam Patel. Dr. Patel, please.
It's quite the walk. Thank you, Dean Mezwa. Before I get started, I want to welcome my classmates to the final PRISM lecture of the year. Please turn in your reflections by next week, and don't worry if you forget, as in OUWB tradition, there'll be a daily reminder sent out every day. But in all seriousness, hello everyone. My name is Shivam Patel, and it is an honor to be able to speak with you all today. Congratulations to all of my classmates on making it through what can only be described as a grueling 4 years. Take pride in where you are sitting, because it takes effort, determination, and if you guessed on exams anywhere close to the amount I did, quite a bit of luck to make it onto this floor. I think grueling is an appropriate choice to describe the process, because medical school has this jarring ability to make us question ourselves and whether we are worthy of where we are. With every achievement, we rarely get a moment to relish in a win, because almost instantly, it's on to the next item on the checklist, like an endless elevator of expectations, rising floors without a penthouse in sight. In reality, this checklist is often not a metaphor, as at one point or another, we've all looked at a PDF ranking what program directors consider when choosing their next residence. But when we read about what matters, we often make the mistake of synonymizing those things with what makes a good physician, and in turn, what makes a good person. And while medical school can do a good job at helping us accumulate those badges that make for a successful match, there's a gap in the curriculum of making good doctors, because what makes someone a truly good physician and person can't be taught by a Boards and Beyond video. It's because those lessons have to be taught in a clerkship on character development, precepted by our peers and by the people and places we often least expect to learn from. We can memorize the steps of how to counsel a patient with heart failure from a book, but sometimes only the kind words a friend shares with you in a dim, unfinished basement after you've had your heart broken can show you what true empathy means. Sometimes the only way to grow as a professional is when a close friend sits you down and tells you to relax. Reflecting on my time at OUWB, I find that the most influential experiences that have prepared me to be a physician, the moments that drove my character development over the past 4 years, are not the hours spent standing in the OR or rounding on the floors, but the memories I've shared with my classmates and friends, my role models who embody the person I want to be when I grow up. Exemplified by the firestorm that can be our class group me, our personalities are contagious. And though we seldom get to choose the people we are surrounded by in this profession, especially as trainees, we have the choice of whether or not we push each other to be better people. Despite what we may have been led to believe, what actually separates us from our peers around the country is not our board scores or where the program we will train is located, but whether or not we take the uncomfortable steps of learning from our interactions with each other, whether or not we have the ability to recognize that we can be wrong and that we can always strive to be kinder, more understanding versions of ourselves. As this will be my last chance to speak with many of you for a long time, I want to make just 2 requests of us all. First, enjoy today and take a step off of the elevator of achievement, if only for 1 weekend, to celebrate the fact that we accomplished something few do. And second, remember that though we may not realize it at the time, being intentional with even the small conversations we share in passing and having a willingness to recognize that we will always have room to grow can make the biggest difference in our training and our careers. Because the way we treat each other and those around us will always be the most important legacy we leave behind. Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Patel, for your heartfelt remarks. Our next speaker was not on this stage for her graduation in 2021. Instead, she was with her classmates on the Oakland University parking lot, participating in a drive-in commencement ceremony. We still had a lot of fun doing it, though. The students watched our speeches from big screens from their cars, It was a beautiful and joyful day, but definitely a unique experience for all of us as we celebrated with honking car horns. Since then, this alum has been in her residency in OBGYN at Corewell Health's Beaumont Hospital. She was recently appointed the Assistant Resident Clerkship Director and has a newfound passion for teaching and mentoring medical students. I'm proud to welcome home to OUWB Dr. Kala Seawright. Kala, please.
Thank you, Dean Meswa, and good afternoon to everyone. My name is Dr. Kayla Seawright. I am honored to have been chosen to speak on behalf of the OUWB alumni, and I am humbled to be in the presence of so many wonderful educators, clinicians, and mentors who have each contributed to the physician I have become today. To the class of 2023, I'd like to start by saying congratulations. This accomplishment, by any means, should not be taken lightly. You have accomplished a goal many have set out to do, but did not achieve it. Be very proud of yourself. When thinking back on what I was going to say to all of you this afternoon, I thought to myself, what is one piece of advice I wish someone had shared with me? Well, the problem was I couldn't just think of one. So this afternoon, I'll give you 3. Here are 3 essential tips that will help you survive your residency. Number 1, the very second you step into the hospital where you will be completing your residency, begin your search for the most clean and private bathroom. You're gonna need it. Number 2, drink coffee. Coffee is your friend, but it can also be your abuser. So with that in mind, always remember tip number 1. The very second you step into your hospital where you will be completing your residency, begin this search for the most clean and private bathroom. You're going to need it. And finally, number 3, on that fateful day when you mistakenly forget your meal prep at home, and the floor gets so crazy that you don't have time to go out for lunch, and your only food choice is to eat the mystery meat being served in the hospital cafeteria, remember, desperate times call for desperate measures, but also keep in mind, survival tip number 1. The very second you step into the hospital where you will be completing your residency, begin the search for the most clean and private bathroom. You're going to need it. All jokes aside, I want you to take a moment to think back when you first felt called to this profession. The day where you looked at yourself and said, I'm going to do this. Can you remember what that felt like? Think about the time when you were preparing your medical school application, when you began to filter through all the extracurriculars to decide what your passions and future goals were. Now, I want you to think back to that very first moment when you found out that you had been accepted to medical school. Remember what that feels like? I know I do. My cheeks are still hurting from the smile I had on my face when I realized I was finally going to become a doctor. I want you to take a time to remember the joy that you felt in each of these moments. Never forget that joy. It is that joy that you will draw on when the nights get tough. It is that joy that will give you hope when the hour is late and you can't still seem to find out what's wrong with your patient. It is that joy that you will need to pull from when your co-residents frustrate you. And it is that same joy that you will desperately cling to when the hours you've worked have kept you from seeing those you love the most. Never forget your joy. And as you cling to your joy, never forget your why. Even when it feels like the challenges of residency may get the best of you, be confident in the fact that OUWB has equipped you with more than enough knowledge, compassion, and strength to see you through the toughest of times. How would I know? Well, I'm not just referring to my own experiences, but I speak on behalf of the OUWB alumni that I work alongside every single day. I have witnessed them provide compassion, graciousness, and selfless care to every patient they encounter. Let that encourage you and give you the strength to keep going. So I don't want to leave you feeling like residency is only defined by its challenges. As crazy as it may sound, residency will also bring you new joys. You will meet lifelong friends, mentors, and if you're lucky, you might find a partner to build your life with. There is so much to look forward to and so much that you will learn. The most powerful and transformational truth for some of you will be coming to the realization that you will never be Meredith Grey, Dr. McSteamy, or McDreamy, because as you know, these are just TV characters. And if I might add, Grey's Anatomy is probably the most inaccurate medical drama to date. But this is the moment. This is the moment you have dreamt of, the moment you have desperately hoped for, the very moment you have been praying for. It is here. It is now. You are doctors. That sounds good, doesn't it? And as I close, let me leave you with this final word of encouragement. My late grandfather always said to me, "Don't grow weary in doing what is good, because at just the right time you will reap a blessing if you do not give up." Class of 2023, this is that time, and today you are reaping just one of your many blessings. Keep going, do good, and never give up. And this is one last thing I must do. On behalf of all OUWB graduates, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the community of OUWB alumni. Congratulations, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well done. Thank you. All right, so thank you, Dr. Seawright. I'm really honored to be with you here on this very special occasion and share a few words with you as well. Throughout this entire ceremony, I've been looking out at all of your faces and really enjoying the view. It's an incredible sight. As the Dean of OUWB, I often find myself in a position to speak about the school to guests and visitors. One of the highlights for me in describing our curriculum, which we refer to as the kindness curriculum, it's at the very core of our school. It's who we are, and I'm grateful to the founding deans for their vision, especially our founding dean, Dr. Robert Folberg. In the process of establishing our school in 2008, he was asked by Dave Forst, actually asked the question sitting right back there. Dave asked Dr. Folberg, "How can you train a physician to be kind?" And it was one of the most insightful questions ever asked. His answer then would be the same today as it starts with you, the medical students. Our first step is to select students who have the right combination of intelligence and compassion. Class of 2023, when you arrived on campus 4 years ago, one of the reasons we asked you, we knew you belonged here, was because of your commitment to community service. Your class came in with almost 176,000 hours of community service. That's an extremely impressive number, which makes it fitting today that 32 members of this class were the very first students to receive our school's Compass Service Awards. The purple and silver cords that they represented more than 150 hours of dedication and service to others over the 4 years at OUWB, and it indicates a deeper commitment to meaningful engagement in the communities where we work and live. I'd like to ask those recipients of the inaugural service honors to stand one more time and please be recognized. Thank you. Let me take you down memory lane for just a minute. I'm going back to August 9th, 2019, and the ceremony where you officially received your first white coat and stethoscope. Take a minute to look around at the classmates seated next to you. There's a really good chance that you'll be sitting next to the exact same people that were here with you at the white coat ceremony. At that time, you knew each other for only 4 days. We introduced you as alumni from 53 different institutions with interest in music, cooking, and water activities from sailing to scuba diving. I hope you've had time, at least some time, in the state of Michigan to enjoy our Great Lakes and some of those activities. On this day, I was the interim dean, and it was the first time I hosted that event. As I congratulated each of you as you crossed the stage, I was so excited about your future. I remember sharing smiles with you as I extended my hand. That simple handshake was symbolic, signaling the beginning of your medical journey with us. And today, here we are again on a big stage surrounded by your loved ones. Only this time, you wear the regalia of a medical doctor. When I greeted you a few minutes ago with your degree, I did so as your colleague. Just like at your white coat, I am again filled with excitement. Only now these feelings are mixed with a tremendous amount of pride for all that you've accomplished here at OUWB. You have chosen your specialties as pediatricians, psychiatrists, radiologists, gynecologists, just to name a few, but your future has arrived. 45% of you will be staying in Michigan to practice, with 20% headed to hospitals in the Corewell Health System, so you may still bump into me from time to time. As you prepare to put down new roots in cities across the country, remember that you will always have roots here too within the OUWB family. And like family members, whether you're in the same town or separated by a state, that support system is only a phone call away. You'll never know when you find yourselves unexpectedly reunited, supporting a classmate, because you're saving the life of your classmate's father, like OUWB alum Trent Jackman did. And let me tell you that story. He and Kevin Cervantes graduated in 2021. Trent was on a shift in the emergency department at Summerlin Hospital in Las Vegas, where Kevin's dad was transported by an ambulance. After intubating Kevin's dad, Trent was in the middle of taking the patient history when Kevin's mom called her son. He was also a doctor, but didn't live in Nevada. He lived in California. When she put Kevin on the FaceTime call with Trent, the two former classmates immediately recognized each other. Kevin said that once he knew that Trent was treating his father, his stress levels went down entirely. To quote Kevin, "He's one of the smartest guys from our graduating class, and he knows what he's doing." The story does have a happy ending, and Kevin's dad is recovering nicely. Kevin took time off to visit his family, and they met up with Trent, and I think we have a photo of that reunion sitting up there. So just like the graduates before you, we know that you are destined to make a difference in medicine. You are destined to be leaders, chief residents, fellows, and researchers. You'll make a profound impact in the community no matter where you go because of your compassion for humanity. We can't wait to hear about your experiences, so plan a visit when you can. Like Dr. Seawright, you may choose to return to deliver an address that will motivate the newest graduates and current students. In recent years, we have welcomed back charter class members as professors and PRISM mentors, so please keep that in mind. I recently came across a post on social media where there were some rules of life that were mentioned, and I thought they would be perfect for this ceremony today. It made me think of our commitment to wellness and the importance of self-care, and I'd like to share them with you and encourage you to use these as you check in on yourself. Make peace with your past, focus on the present, creating a better future. Try to avoid negativity, surround yourself with positive people. Give it time because time heals almost everything. Don't compare your life to others. Don't judge people. Everyone is on a different journey. Stop thinking too much. It's all right not to know the answers. Only you are in charge of your happiness, so be strong and move on. It's time to be happy again. And smile. It works out in the end because life is short. And my favorite one, as you might expect, is to be kind. I wholeheartedly believe in this. Sometimes we are too hard on ourselves, and sometimes we're too hard on each other. Imagine if we reminded ourselves and others of our potential, our courage, and our strength. Encourage yourself and encourage a friend. The world will truly be a better place. Kindness is contagious. Compassion is contagious. Every moment we choose compassion, we move toward a better world. Before we recite your class oath together, I would like to commend you for composing a pledge that places an emphasis on eradicating disparities and social factors related to health. I find these lines especially helpful, and I quote, "I will work to understand and mitigate disparities that influence my patient's health. I will affirm health care as a human right." Unlike any other oath, your class included an asterisk at the end of this sentence to clearly identify those inequities. Racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, ableism, classism, xenophobia, religious discrimination, and all other forms of oppression. I'm counting on you to keep your promise to not be a bystander, but to be an advocate for your patients and your colleagues. Now I invite the members of the class of 2023 to please rise and to prepare to recite your oath. You will find it in the back of your program booklet. I also invite every physician to join with our new colleagues, those here in the room as well as online, in our commitment to medicine. So please rise and recite the oath with us. And we'll all read it together at the same time. So, at this moment, and for the rest of our careers as physicians, we accept the following responsibilities. I will prioritize the well-being of my patients and serve them to the best of my ability. I will not judge my patients for their circumstances. I will provide my patients with the knowledge to actively participate in their care. I will be a responsible steward of healthcare resources. I will maintain my passion, motivation, and curiosity for knowledge. I will make meaningful contributions to the educational experience of all learners. I will respect the expertise of my healthcare colleagues. I will champion diversity and inclusion among physicians. I will advocate for the colleagues when they are mistreated. I will not be a bystander. I will love and nurture myself to sustain my well-being. I will fulfill my obligations in the face of adversity. I will respect my limitations and ask for help when I need it. I will work to understand and mitigate disparities that influence my patients' health. I will have an active voice in dismantling social inequities. I will affirm healthcare as a human right. With hope for the future, we take this oath voluntarily and without hesitation. So graduates, please remain standing. All others can be seated. You have officially received your degree as MDs, and you have made a public declaration to the practice of medicine. I ask you now to take a look around the arena and extend appreciation to all those who supported your dreams of becoming a physician. Graduates, please turn around toward the M1, M2, and M3 classes so that the student body may be the first to congratulate you. Everyone, please join in congratulating the OUWB class of 2023. Please be seated. Graduates, now I wish to recognize two groups of individuals who, without them, your medical school journey would not have led you to this epic day. I'm talking about your foundational medical studies faculty members. I ask them to please rise and remain standing. And I ask your physician faculty members from Corewell Health to please rise and be recognized. Thank you for making a difference in the lives of all of our students. Please be seated. At this point in the ceremony, I invite Oakland University Senior Vice President for Student Affairs and Chief Diversity Officer Glenn McIntosh to deliver the valediction. Glenn.
Thank you, Dean Maswell, and thank you for being an outstanding leader of OUWB. And an even more special role model and colleague to me. Thank you. Valediction is one last charge for the graduates. One last moment before you set your sights on something higher, something bigger, something better. Now, an academic degree is not the completion of your intellectual journey. It's just the beginning of becoming a lifelong learner. To paraphrase Aristotle, I will tell you, we are what we repeatedly do and demonstrate. Listen to that. We are what we repeatedly do and demonstrate. Therefore, excellence is a choice. It becomes a consistent behavior if we want it to. That if is the key word. Now I want you to imagine yourself standing on a pathway. The pathway is called hope. What's the name of the pathway? Hope. You're standing on Hope Pathway. You're wearing a white coat. Embroidered on the chest of that white coat are the letters DR. Now, DR could stand for doctor, but more importantly, DR stands for direct resource. Direct resource. Wearing the DR and being the direct resource means you pledged to be the help for the helpless, to be the hope for the hopeless, to be the healer for those hurting, to empower the powerless, to make disparities and injustices just, and to make everyone's life matter. As a doctor, you must be willing to go through, around, under, and over any perceived obstacles or barriers to make good and great things happen for your patients. Their life will be in your hands. But whenever you encounter any barriers or obstacles, the question waiting to be asked, and the question that you must ask yourself every day you wake up, the question is, am I ready? Am I willing? Am I ready? Am I willing to recycle, to reinvent, to re-energize, to rework, to renew myself so I stay engaged and I stay relevant? And with confidence, your answer should always be, yes, I am. And remember that through your OUWB education, your outstanding faculty and staff, they have poured into you all the necessary knowledge and ingredients for elevation, promotion, and advancement in your personal and professional journey. You have the ability to be exceptional, to be great. Graduates, we are so very proud of you, and always remember, your duty is to stand up, to stand out, and to stand above. Please repeat this with me. Stand up, stand out, stand above. Now let's say it with intentionality. Stand up, stand out, stand above. Go Grizzlies, go black and gold. Thanks for having me. God bless each and every one of you.
Thank you, Glenn, for that inspirational message. Now I'd like to thank the Global Interpreting Services for signing today's ceremony in American Sign Language. Also, a thank you to Cabernet Pipes and Drums and Dr. Tanya Bailey for their special contribution. I must take a moment to recognize those who made this commencement ceremony possible, from the OUWB Department of Student Affairs, Foundational Medical Studies, and the Dean Suite. To the Arena Facilities team, along with the OU Video Services team and the dozens of OUWB staff who volunteered today. Thank you for making this event a success. To our new physicians, please prepare for the recessional. We ask that everyone keep the aisles clear so that we may exit in the following order. The platform party may exit first, then the faculty, then the graduates led by Cabernet. Graduates, please walk all the way across the street to the reception by the Elliott Tower. We invite everyone to join us at the Dean's reception across the street. Students, please follow the bagpipers to the reception. I now officially declare the commencement ceremony for the OUWB class of 2023 to be complete. Dr. McCauley, please begin the recessional.